friends. Welcome back to the Coffee and Grace podcast. And I am here today with my fun Facebook bestie, Maya from Detroit. Woo woo! Everybody give it up.
Hello.
So, Miss Maya, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to have you on and chat with you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Maya, tell us a little bit about your family.
Okay, well, I'm a wife, of course, and I got four children. So we're a family of six. I have three boys and one girl. One boss lady, enough. She is enough. So I got one boss lady, but my family is very beautiful. I love them very much.
I love seeing your family on Facebook. It's so fun to follow you guys for sure.
Oh,
So
thanks.
tell me, how did you meet your husband originally?
Well, it's actually really funny. I made a Facebook post and I basically was like, "Hey, I'm looking for something real." Um, I put a Facebook post and then I guess he saw it, and he ended up inboxing me and he was like, "Hey, let me put in a boyfriend application." And I was like, side eyed him at first. And then I was like, "Okay, well, let me check with the guy I was dating." So I basically went and asked him, like, "Hey, what are we doing here? What is this?" And he basically hit me with the, "We are farmers." Bum, ba dum, bum, 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 bum. I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah, sure. I'll go on a date with you." So we went out on our first date. I guess a few weeks later, we went on our first date, and the rest is history.
Aw, that is so fun. So, would you please share a little about your background, your testimony, and how you got saved?
Oh, sure. Well, I grew up Pentecostal, so I just seen people speaking in tongues and all type of stuff, all type of crazy stuff, and I never really understood it. So I kind of just looked at Christians like hypocrites, and I didn't like them at all. I didn't want to be one. I didn't want to be around them. That's kind of the way I felt about religion. Like they gave Christianity a bad name for sure.
Yeah.
So I grew up that way. And when I met my husband, I knew from his Facebook profile, because I went through it. I went through it. I had to look. He was like a family man, and I could tell he was some type of Christian, but I didn't really understand it. So I was like, who knows? Let's just see anyway. So he ended up preaching me the gospel on like the third date. And I ended up getting saved then. But when he preached me the gospel, I was kind of feeling like I kind of like was like, I don't want to hear this in my heart, if that makes sense. Like I was like, oh man, here we go again with this hypocrite Pentecostal stuff. Here we come. Okay. But when he actually preached me the gospel, I was like, oh, now this is a different gospel. Like this is different from what I'm used to hearing. They always teach like, oh, you got to do good works or you have to be all of this other stuff. And then behind closed doors, like, I got eyes, I can see you, right? So that's kind of what it is. Like when you grow up, they be like, "Oh yeah, you can't sin, you can't do this," and it just didn't make sense. So when he preached the gospel, like, "Oh no, it's not about you," I believe what he was saying. So that's how I ended up getting saved. After I got saved at what 24 years old, about 24 years old. Later in my life. And who knows? I would have been going to hell if it wasn't for him, because I would
Right.
have never sought the Lord for myself. I would have never did. I would have never looked at all. I went from
Right.
blaspheming the Lord on Facebook or making funny memes and all type of stuff, and not realizing I was just racking up debt. I was racking up the things, and I didn't really understand it. But now it's like my eyes is open, and I was just like, oh, well, thank you, sir, for inboxing me on Facebook.
Exactly. Changed your life in more ways than one, right? That's
Definitely.
beautiful. I love that. So you shared with me before that you two actually broke up because you were on under a feminist spell. So what happened with that?
So the big breakup. We actually So basically he was a Christian. He, was listening to good preaching. He knew what he wanted in his wife, right? So he was like, oh, well, after a few weeks of dating or something, he was like, well, this is what he wasn't playing around. He was like, this is what I want. I wanted a wife. I want somebody to cook for my food. I want somebody to, take care of my kids. And then when he was like, I want somebody to homeschool and stay at home with my kids, I was like, you. And then he was like, I want to take care of you. And I was like, you want to take care of me? I was like, oh no, I'm out of here. So I broke up with him. I was like, this is not the relationship for me. I'm like, oh no, we can't do this. Cause you mean you want to take care? It was just like you just grow up thinking you got to be independent. And that's just kind of the feminist feel. I thought that I had to go to work in order to be successful or whatever the case is. I didn't really understand nothing. So to get out of that feminist spell, I went to work and I was just looking at like all the old ladies there and stuff like that, and they all just be miserable, wishing they had a man to take care of them. And I'm like, I ended up talking to one of my coworkers, and she was like, oh, okay, well, it was an older lady. I still talk to her here and there, and she was like, wait a minute. I told her the story, and she was like, you don't want to date this dude because he want to take care of you. She was like, she basically was like, are you slow? You know, that's kind of what she gave me. She was like, are you like slow? And I was like, maybe. So she ended up, talking to her or whatever. But I ended up getting back with him. After that, his mom had told me that she wanted a cat before then. So my mom, she had some cats at the time, and one of them was they was having kittens. So she was like, the babies, the kittens is here. They ready to go. So I was like, I called him on the phone. I was like, hey, did your mom still want those kittens? He was like, he asked his mom, and she was like, yeah. I was like, okay, well, I'll bring some. So, that's how we started back, communicating, and from there it was history. So I went in a relationship already knowing what he wanted from that point, because he didn't, switch up on me. He told me what he wanted from the beginning.
Right.
So
Right. That's beautiful and funny at the same time. I love that.
yeah, he
So
to take care of me.
hilarious.
I was like, what's
What?
wrong with this dude? I want to go to work. Like, it's just so stupid how people think that, that's the way that's supposed to be, Now I know the Bible, but at that point, I didn't know nothing about
Right.
anything.
Exactly. Exactly. So you've shared that finding the new IFB was life changing for you. What drew you there initially?
Of course, my husband, my husband, of course. So listening to sermons with him, and it's definitely life changing, as far as, I mean, like every aspect of my life, from like homeschooling my kids to being saved, going to church, trying to preach the gospel, but also in a sense where I can see danger now, because before then I didn't really understand like the dangers of, like, sodomites or whatever case. I didn't understand the dangers, so I used to have my kid around these people, and all of my friends were, and it really took hearing the reprobate doctrine, and it really took like me putting the pieces together with my own family, and realizing how my own brothers is messed up, and realizing how my own cousins is messed up. It's kind of, I had to put the pieces together, like, oh, this is the cycle that keep on going, and I was still
Hmm.
dating Brandon at this time. I was dating Brandon or whatever, and I had to go to work. And I was like, oh, I just asked my brother to keep him. This how I realized, like, oh, how serious it was, because I really didn't understand it at this point either. I
Right.
think I was, yeah, I was saved, but Brandon was like, oh no, that's my husband, of course. But he was like, oh no, I asked my brother to keep my son, and he was like, oh no, I will take off work. And he make more money than I did at the time. He was like, I will take out work and I will keep your son. He was like, don't ever, ever let them keep your son. Don't ever do that again. He was like, and I didn't realize he got so mad at me. We still dating, but he was like, I will take off work and I will keep him. He was like, because they will ruin that boy. And then I was like,
Hmm.
oh, eye opener.
Right.
So, hmm
Right. I'm glad. So that's how you felt that the NIFB community really protected you and your
yeah,
children, and,
yeah.
and learning that truth. So what's your favorite part about being a mom right now?
Waking up to the laughs and the giggles. My favorite part about being a mom is just, being around my kids and watching them grow. That's like the best thing. And it's like the saddest thing too, but
Right.
like my baby just started calling. He used to say my fingers, like, you'd be like, hey, your fingers, he pinga pinga. But when they say something different, it's like, oh man, you saying it right. Like, please say it back wrong, It's
I
just
know,
watching them
right?
grow. My daughter be like, she used to be like pizza, right? It was Zappa. For whatever reason, she said it like that. And then when she started saying it, all of our heart, when she started saying it the right way, our hearts broke. So it's just like watching them
Right.
grow and get smarter. And like, I'm homeschooling now. So it's like, I'm teaching y'all stuff that I ain't even know.
Right. Oh, I love that. What's something about motherhood that humbled you quickly?
Something about motherhood that humbled me quickly is, I would say, really not being lazy, like
Hmm.
that's what kind of humbled me, thinking that I knew everything. Sometimes you just feel like you know everything, and you don't. It's always
Right.
something that you don't know or not listening. I kind of that kind of humbled me in that aspect, because before, like I told you, my husband used to tell me like, hey, you being too soft on the boys, you can't raise a boy like that. And I was thinking like, well, my brother was, then I thought about it like,
Oh,
oh, okay, you're right. Right again, so just some things you gotta listen.
right, exactly. What's a funny mom fail that you can laugh about now?
Funny mom fail. I would think a funny mom fail would have to be uh definitely potty training, of course.
I think we all fail at that one a little bit, right?
Definitely potty training. I'm going through it right now with my almost 2 year old. I think that's like a funny mom fail. You think you know what you're doing, you go somewhere and the baby just everywhere. I just was like, and it's just happened. That's why it's fresh on my brain.
Right. So
hmm
funny. I think we have all been there. So, what has been your hardest season as a wife or a mom?
My hardest season right now, I think, is I grew up not really eating healthy, So now at 30, almost 32 years old, I'm trying to figure out how to eat and learn about nutrition and know about, all of those things, and trying to teach my kids how to eat certain stuff the right way, looking at reading labels. And I think that's kind of like the hardest thing, especially when you can just go grab a bag of chips and eat it, or
Right.
eat some chicken nuggets. It's harder making stuff from scratch. So that's
Right.
what era I'm in right now, trying to learn how to feed my family healthy meals because I don't want them to grow up with diabetes and all of those other
Right.
issues. So
Yeah.
trying to undo what I was taught.
Yeah. It is tough. And it's even tough if you've been in there for a while
Yeah.
because it seems like we always got to be in the kitchen. Every time we turn around, we in the
Yes.
kitchen. We in the
Every day.
kitchen. And the
Yep.
house still needs cleaned up. And the kids, they
I'm
need
not even gonna show
clothes
you that
and
side of my kitchen. I told you we just
back in
got
the
done
kitchen
eating.
again. Yep.
Limo window that kitchen right now. So don't even talk about the kitchen.
That's where we live. We might as well just put a cot up in there, right?
I was like, oh, I gotta get on this podcast. Let me limo window. So I can't see the kitchen right now. We're not gonna talk about that no more.
So, what's a miracle in your life that you will never get over?
Getting saved. Understanding that salvation was by grace through faith. That is like the only miracle that I can ever, getting saved and making sure my loved ones now getting saved. That's like the biggest miracle because I wasn't even thinking about it at all.
Right.
And it just the Lord led me, or my husband led, however it happened. I just want to thank the Lord. That's the biggest miracle. Now my
Right.
kids are getting saved, and some family members, a lot of them I know passed away. They wasn't saved, and now I do have some who saved. And if they pass away, I feel better about it.
Right.
So that's the
Exactly.
biggest miracle that that's here, hearing the gospel and believing it. That's it.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that. Was there a moment where you truly saw God step in and change something that you could not fix?
It's been several moments actually, but I'll just go over, a quick scenario. It's just a small anyway.
Yeah.
But before I listened to it was a sermon. It was at Faithful Word, but it wasn't Pastor Anderson. It was, I guess, a I don't know what he is, deacon, or it was Chris Greer, right? He did a sermon on how to pray last time, October or something. And listening to that sermon changed my life because I didn't understand how he broke it down, how you're supposed to pray. That definitely changed my life. And immediately after I started praying that way, things just start changing and shifting, like, oh, the Lord really showing you like, oh, okay, it's like a few things. Like we needed a car last year, our van overheating. It was just like really bad. My husband trying to get to work. We just was stressing, whatever the case is. And after we watched that sermon about how to pray, we actually went to pray, and they called my husband the next morning. I was like, what? Our car's
Wow.
ready to come get it, or whatever the case is. So that's like small, but like it always it's always like that now. Like I don't have to, like, the Lord definitely provide, because like for my kids, I didn't have to buy them clothes or anything. Like I would tell my husband, as soon as I'd be like, hey, we need to go get the kids some clothes, or we need to go get this, somebody just come drop some stuff off to my house. And I'll be like, wow,
Wow.
or
That's
we'll go to
awesome.
church. We go to church, and then it'll be another lady, of course. I didn't say nothing about it. She didn't even go to this church. She went to my old church, but she ended up meeting me at my new church to bring my daughter the next clothes. And I was like, I just told my husband last night that we needed, to get on children's place, and here we go. The Lord definitely have been providing for my kids, and I can definitely see that.
That is so beautiful. I love that. Yes, the Lord does provide. Yep.
Yes,
We just need to ask, right?
you
So
definitely
let's,
ask. You got to ask
yep,
for ask, and you shall receive.
exactly. Let's switch gears a little bit, Miss Maya. Okay,
Okay.
so let's talk about preaching the gospel. When did you first feel bold enough to preach the gospel publicly?
And a few years ago, so 2024, the spring of 2024. Before then, I went out to soul winning marathons with my husband or whatever, but I was always the silent partner. And we went out one year, and the person that I went with, I was like, I don't like the way they preaching the gospel. Something ain't right here. So my husband, after that, I was like, okay, I gotta learn because I can't go with nobody like that no more. So we end up what he ended up like showing me exactly how to do it, and we practiced on the phone. Then I had a friend, her name was Heather. She definitely called me on the phone, so we practiced, and that's how I learned. My first time actually preaching the gospel was to one of my old high school friends. He called me on the phone. He was like, he always called me when he have a crazy dream. This is something he always did. So he called me about a crazy dream. I haven't talked to this dude in so long. And he called me about a crazy dream. And he was like, it was like an end times dream. It really sounded like that's what he had. And I was like, oh, well, let me try to preach him the gospel. So that was like my first person. He ended up praying and everything, but I haven't checked his salvation, so I don't really know. But he ended up praying, and I guess, getting saved. But sometimes you got to check some people, and who
Right.
knows? I probably should reach out and check them. But that was like the first person, and then that was at night. That was like maybe 8 o'clock at night, and then the next morning went out preaching the gospel with my husband. So I'm not a silent partner no more, and I ended up getting 3 people saved that day. My first time going out,
Beautiful.
I got 3 people saved. No, 4 people saved. It was one
Great.
guy, and then it was 3 teenage girls. So it was nice. I was
That
like,
is
oh,
so
well, thank you,
awesome.
Lord. Thank you for showing me that I can do it. So that just gave me all the confidence in the world.
Right. That's beautiful. I love it. Good job, Maya. Just getting out there and putting it into practice. So,
Yeah.
what helped you move past that fear? You talked about, some practice with your friend Heather, practicing with your husband. Um, did you have any fears about getting past what people maybe thought?
I think the biggest thing was like not knowing all of the questions that people are going to ask you. So that's kind of like, like say for instance, you walk to a Pentecostal or some Jewish person or whatever, like what can they ask you from their perspective? So what I ended up doing is I just went online and found some sermons specifically for these type of people, which I run into, like the missionary Baptist, Pentecostal, like that's what I usually run into. So I just watch a sermon and kind of got the questions, wrote down, highlighted the verses in my Bible so it can help me out. So like if I knew for sure, like even with my family members, so when I go up against them, I'm like, oh well, I got this for you. What about this verse and this verse? So that kind of helped me, And then I just in the back of my Bible, I just put where okay, I got like the people who believe they Jews. I got this, and that's, I'm not talking about just like the Israel or whatever we got, the Zionists. I'm talking about Black
Right.
Hebrew Israelites because that's what
Right.
we deal with down here.
Right.
So I
Right.
got verses for them up here in part of my Bible, and then I got the verses for people who think that it's not a gift by faith. You're not saved by grace. I got just little things in the back of my Bible, so I can go here, and then I know where to flip. But
Exactly. You got a
the
map.
biggest thing is the biggest thing is learning the Bible verses.
Right.
Especially the gospel. That's the main thing. Once you get those memorized, then you can move on.
Exactly. Exactly. That is great advice. So, why is preaching the gospel so personal to you now?
It's very personal because oh, you gonna make me cry. But so I had a brother, not one of my crazy ones, but I had another brother. He passed away, and before he passed away, I had a dream when I was like 16, and don't be like you crazy. I don't think I'm like Daniel and all of that. I just for whatever reason, it do happen. Sometimes that it happens like that. But I had a dream that he passed away, right? This 16 years old. So, we growing up in Detroit, he got into all type of mischief after this dream or whatever. So I always thought that, oh man, this is the time where he gonna pass away or whatever the case is. So he ended up getting into like some big trouble, trying to make some fast money. He got some big trouble. I'm telling you, they breaking windows out our house, bomb threats, all type of stuff. Got it. So I'm like, oh, this is the dream. They about to take my brother from me. Because the dream was like he went up our main road to the hospital with my cousin, and my cousin came home. He didn't. So I'm like, I don't know what it is, whatever, right? So I ended up telling him to get my little savings, and I sent him away a few hours, and he went to living with my other brother in Muskegon, away from the crap, right? So he was there for what, 5 years, 4 or 5 years, or whatever the case is. He was there, and then he ended up moving back down. So he moved back down, stayed with my mom for a minute. I had a dream about him a month before he passed, and I woke up and I told my husband, I was like, "Hey, we need to preach my brother the gospel."
Mm-hmm.
And I saw my brother one time, and I didn't preach him the gospel, and that was it. I never seen him again. He died, and I was like,
Oh,
so that was like the heartbreaking moment
right.
for me. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is what I could have preached in the gospel. And a few weeks before, like I'm not even his Facebook friends because that one page got hacked. But he was literally blaspheming the Lord because he had said something crazy, and I had
Oh,
commented on there, and I was like, wait a minute, wait, we
mm-hmm.
got to talk about this kind of
Yeah,
before I saw him again. I just thought we had more time. So
right,
the rule of thumb is like preach them the gospel now, because they can pass away on their way home. So
right.
that's kind
We
of
don't
what
know.
lit the fire into me. I'm like,
Right.
oh man.
Well, that would definitely light the fire for sure. So,
Yeah.
wow, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Yeah,
And
thank you. Yeah, it's so
yeah,
sad. Like my dad passed away. I was sad, but it's like he was saved. So I'm like, I'm sad, but I ain't that sad, But my brother,
right,
I'm grieving because, if he didn't believe the gospel, or if I don't know, then I'm assuming that that's where he is at, in the worst place. And that was my
right,
best friend growing up. So just
right,
crazy.
right. That's hard. That's hard. So, what would you say to someone who knows that they should share the gospel, but they just feel unqualified?
I think that anybody who think that they unqualified, like if you're a saved person, then you're qualified. You can
Yeah.
lead somebody to the Lord. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
all it takes for you to have your little notes and to go over it, and maybe it might go over their head the first time. It might go over a second time or a third time or whatever the case is. But I think not opening your mouth is worse than trying.
Right,
Because
right.
if you try to preach somebody the gospel, at least you try. Like if I preach the gospel to any family member and they reject it or whatever the case is, I tried. You didn't
Exactly.
believe it, but I feel worse if a person died and I know the truth and I just
Right,
can't tell you. That make you feel
right.
like I failed this person. Because
Yeah.
my one of yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's rough. So we definitely need to open our mouth, right? And
Yeah,
make known the
definitely. Because
gospel. Yep.
the work they can look at, because they gonna look at you like you weird, family, they gonna look at you. You the weirdo right now. You the Christian, of course, you're gonna be weird, in their eyes. But you trying
Right.
to preach the gospel. They like me when I first before I got saved. Oh, I don't want to hear this. And some get saved, some don't. But the worst thing is, like, if you passed away and I didn't say nothing, and I had an opportunity to, then it's like,
Right.
that's kind of on me. That's how I feel. Like, oh, that's on me. I don't want
Right.
their blood on me. That's why I preach you the gospel. You believe it, you do, you
Exactly.
don't. But at the end of the day, at least you heard it. I would
Right.
feel bad if I knew somebody around me knew how to go to heaven and I didn't say nothing.
Right. Right. It's definitely, I mean, the Great Commission. I mean, that's our
Yeah.
job as Christians.
Yeah.
We are
Mhm.
supposed to share the gospel. So we have some exciting events coming up soon, Miss Maya, that I want you to share about April 4th and also June 20th. What's happening on these days?
So I believe it's Steadfast Baptist Church on April 4th is having the mega marathon again. So we're just going out soul winning with some people in our area. So that's in the Detroit area. So if you're anywhere around Detroit, or the greater Metro Detroit area, you can come out soul winning with us. It's going to be on April 4th. Now June 20th. Oh, did it close it out? Did it close out? Sorry, I was trying to close up a notification. But on June 20th, we will be going out soul winning at 10 o'clock a.m. It's going to be a Detroit soul winning marathon, and we always have fun. People from all over come. So we'll have that, and it'll be on June 20th, 10 a.m. is when we're going to be meeting up.
That is so exciting. So everybody, I'll put Maya's information down in the description of this video so you can get in touch with her if you're interested in meeting up with her and her husband on April 4th or on June 20th. So if you do not know how to give the gospel, you can actually go and learn how to do this. Maya or her husband or somebody that is there meeting up with them, you will get trained. You can come and be a silent partner. You don't have to say anything at first. You could just come and listen, observe, be that silent partner. You will still get rewards and you'll learn how to do it also.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing about that, Maya. I really appreciate it. I'm excited for you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be really fun. We're going to be doing it at Faithful Word, obviously, April 4th in
Right.
Phoenix. So if you're in the Phoenix area, I can get you that information. I'll put the Steadfast website down below as well. So you can check out where other events are going across the states and across the world, actually. You know,
Yeah.
globally, the Mega Marathon is going to be everywhere. So that's really
Yeah.
exciting. So, Miss Maya, if you could share one piece of advice for moms to encourage them, what would it be?
Have patience with your children. It's as easy as people make it seem. Sometimes people, you can look online or social media and you get like, oh, everything is just perfect. But my advice is just to realize that is not what it is. Nobody's perfect. No parents is perfect. Don't my advice is don't look at social media and try to make that your life, because that's not even their lives. They just what they show you.
Right.
So especially in our day and age, we everybody want to be, white picket fence and all of this extra stuff, but that's not what it is. It get grimy. Them kids gonna mess their house up and it's gonna
Yep.
look crazy. Their laundry gonna pile up, but at the end of the day, it's worth it.
Exactly. Mess and all, we love it. We are so
Yeah,
thankful we could be stay-at-home moms, right, Maya?
yeah,
I
definitely,
cannot
because
imagine going back working.
imagine how high the laundry would get if I had to go to work too.
Exactly. I would lose my mind. I'm so thankful I could be a stay-at-home mom and just do
Yeah,
this on my own
it's
time for sure. So, what is one thing Christ has taught you about womanhood?
one thing that Christ has taught a lot, um, how to nurture and take care of your children, and how to take care of your husband, and be a better person all around. Christ by the Bible, it just teach you how to live your life the right way. Because I could have been out partying and dropping my kids off at daycare and all of these other things, but the Bible don't do that because of things can happen. You want to make sure your kids stay at home and they stay safe. And we got a baby on the way. I told you we was potty training, but you want to make sure the baby was coming in here. But yeah, you want to make sure made me lose my train of thought.
That's
But yeah,
motherhood too. Be patient, you
yeah,
said.
it made me
Because,
mom brain.
yeah, mom brain is coming. Yep.
Yeah.
So, what is bringing you joy in this season?
What's bringing me joy is, first of all, it's getting warmer right now, and we'll be able
Awesome.
to be out preaching the gospel, because that definitely brings us joy as a family. I feel like when we out preaching the gospel, it make our lives better. We be
Right.
happy. We get our people saved. So I'm just happy it's about to be warm so we can get out. And I know it's hard here in the wintertime, especially with our kids, especially we can't have nobody babysitting and all of that extra stuff.
Right.
Like, we just don't have it. Like, only person who come over and keep our kids is his aunt, my husband's aunt, and she just
Mm-hmm.
started doing that, and it's just been a
Mm-hmm.
blessing for us to get out. But we usually take our kids out with us all the time, so that's definitely a blessing. So it's going to bring us a lot of joy, a lot of rewards. Time to get it going.
Exactly, exactly. Well, thank you so much, Miss Maya, for coming on today. And thank you also for sharing all of your baked goods. I loved seeing all of your cookies and all
Oh
the
yeah,
yummies you're baking over there. So,
thank you.
yes, thank you for coming on. And like I said, everyone, I'll share Maya's information down in the description along with the soul winning events coming up. And we'll see you on the next podcast of Coffee and Grace with Amanda. Bye.
Bye.